be interesting to note what NA has in store.
The match is ready. Let's see what's going to happen. Brunj and Hurix, take it.
Welcome everybody. I'm Hurix, and as he mentioned, joined by Brunj to start things off today. A good matchup to get the day started for us. Fractal Esports taking on Fusion University could very well determine, this game could very well determine actually the standings going into the playoffs, as this is basically just the matchup between the two top teams as we expect at least. Kungarna, of course, might throw a wrench in that as they looked fantastic so far to start the group off. But this could also potentially be a final match too. I mean, both of these teams are phenomenal in terms of what we expect to see, and Vision is another team that we expect to kind of see play really well as well. But starting things off here, looks like a triple tank setup right now coming out of the gates from Fractal Esports.
And we'll see whether or not this counter dive strat coming out of the side of Fusion University will really find those prime targets, those squishy backline supports, as so far it's gonna be Zachary getting exactly that. What a kill onto Dino. Elk even claiming a kill onto the opposing Lucio means that no supports for Fractal Esports will be delayed for quite a while now until they manage to regroup.
And right now, I can tell from what I'm seeing is that we're on East Coast, which means that Who Are You and Alarm are playing with pretty big ping at the moment, and that could make the difference. We'll have to see though, as Who Are You on the Genji gonna really want that lesson ping, but not gonna have it. Just dashing through everybody right now. Very close to generating up that blade, putting pressure now onto Dino. He's gonna fall down. The blade's gonna come out as well as Who Are You is all over the place. Ping or not, he will cut through the opposition and Fractal will fall. A minute off the clock already.
And what a way to start the North American Overwatch Pit Season 2 for Who Are You here, with a quadra kill already on the board against Fractal Esports, and definitely looking very dominant here. Not a lot of ultimates even being built up really for Fractal, as Coalescence should always be charged up really fast with so many healthy big HP pools on that lineup. But now that they're going to go for the high ground, Who Are You will contest for a bit. Coalescence will come out. Who Are You targeted, but will manage to stay alive with the help of that Transcendence. But is it going to be an overcommit here, as we'll see them brawl it out on the point? Elk, though, claims the kill. It's 2-0 in favor of Fusion University. And again, with another good teamfight win on the board here, we'll see a potential eco push at the very least go through for Fractal Esports. But they're losing a lot of time here on Hollywood.
This counter dive style is really working out for Fusion University. 2 minutes off the clock, half of the time that they have allotted to get this first objective is already gone and dusted. It's away out of their hands. Who Are You almost ready to go with his second blade. He's really kind of been untouched for the most part, as Zachary has really created a lot of space for him, pulling the attention of guys like Dino, so that he can really get very aggressive in some of these fights. They're gonna have Soundberry here as well, so this looks like it's another opportunity, as Inkage is just not close enough, I would say, to having that Graviton Surge.
And even Alarm at 74% towards that Transcendence. And we'll see Zachary claim the first kill off of the Pulse Bomb. Already looking very good here, as Who Are You pulls out the blade a second time. And again, a triple kill. Definitely the most effective use of that blade we've seen so far in the tournament. Already getting another triple kill on the board means that they will halt them once again. At the very least, though, going into this next push with 1 minute remaining, we will have to see NK land a big Graviton, because at this rate, they're pretty much looking to be full hold.
They've got the answer. Transcendence at the ready. We'll have to see how aggressive they want to be with this. They drop it right onto Alarm. That's exactly who you want to land that on. Now they'll be able to clean up the Graviton Surge. They should be able to cap the point following right after that.
Especially now with Who Are You also dropping down. Bracken Lacken will follow, and eventually took them a while, but Fractal Esports find the kills they need, and it's off of that Reinhardt right there. Gator coming through with a big Earth Shatter means that they will clean things up, but they did have, or rather they did commit most of their ultimates. Can't really fault them, considering they wanted to make sure they get the cap here, as Kraken Lacken will look to contest It's not quite capped just yet. Alarm comes back in with the Transcendence, and maybe they can still turn things around as they're fighting it out at the point. Diva will lose that suit, however, and it's still looking good for Fractal Esports. But as I say that, Zachary claims a double kill, and as Huryu comes with a blade, he's gonna find Tensa, and they might just still do it. Fusion University coming back in will get the kills they need, and they will potentially hold. But Frill, answer with a double kill of his own, it's not going to be enough, as Zachary still gets the D-suit and the kill. Overtime ticking through, and Fusion University. What coordination as well to come back in and secure that first point hold.
And we saw what they were able to do in the open division. You know, there's been some hype behind this roster, but we haven't really seen them up against some real tough opposition. And a team like Fusion University, you know, is a team that on paper is already really good. You know, you might think that perhaps there might be some issues with communication given Alarm and Who Are You, but I think over time that will just get better. And certainly you could say that, you know, it has been some time now, especially after their matches against Envision, especially in the Beat Invitational last week, that, you know, they've probably grown to a state of comfortability, and I think that's very important to note. But Fractal Esports full held on the first map is not a good sign for the teams coming out of the open division and trying to make a statement here in Overwatch Pit Season 2 of NA, because this is really their best opportunity before Contenders Trials goes on and then into Contenders. So this is it right here. The best team, I mean, undisputed best team out of North America Open Division is just getting murdered. I mean, it is a massacre right now from Fusion University, who just seem to be firing on all cylinders right now.
The scary thing about that roster is the fact that before the Beat Invitational, they only really had 1 week of practice together. So now that they've had more time, it looked that much more terrifying. And going into their attacking side, and we'll see for now on the side of Fractal Esports, NK favoring the Soldier instead. So looking for that counter dive, looking to really, at the very least, get a potential pick onto the likes of Huryu, who has had a stellar performance, and the Genji, as to be expected. And things are not looking good for them, but they can, it can be done. It could be done.
Zachary, we saw his old teammate yesterday, Jesus, playing for Kungarna, really lights out for them. Now it's Zachary's turn to make a statement here on the attacking side. Already played awesomely defensively, and now they're already, look at this dive. This execution is almost perfect here. Their DPS are going to be getting pretty low, but they should still be able to clean this one up. Gator going to fall. Who Are You looking now for NK? We'll find that dashing all over the place, and they only need to get that like a 2.5 tick right now, up to 87.2%. We see Who Are You going forward on the Genji. We'll have to see if maybe somehow, some way, Fractal Esports is going to be able to make it back. And given the fact that their Soldier isn't even moving out of the spawn, that will be it. Fusion University decisively taking the first map.
Completely dismantling the opposition. The only team fight win for Fractal Esports was when they got those 2.5 ticks, and that was all they had this whole entire map. But at the very least for them, going into Horizon, they're gonna look to retaliate, as we will be moving on to a short break. Don't go anywhere.
And we are back at the analysis desk. Fusion University, they just seem to be on a completely different level compared to Fractal Esports in the first one.
I mean, brutal there. Not even showed if it's allowed on Twitch. With how Who Are You just as expected performed on the Genji big time. Just the only good takeaway for Fractal in that whole map was that Earthshatter setting up that 2.5 cap on the point, but that was pretty much all they had going for them.
And also they managed to kill Alarm in a crucial fight, I'd say, but somehow they managed to retake the first objective, which looked amazing, and Horu was on fire. Who Are You was on fire all the time, so to say. Now, coming up next, Horizon Lunar Colony. Is this going to be a stop on the first point again?
It can definitely happen, considering I do believe Fusion University is again on the defense to start things off. And I gotta credit the whole team, because Zachary also performed, of course, making sure Who Are You did have that space he needed to perform. And overall, the team looks to be exceptional.
Now, in your opinion, what does Fractal Esports need to do in order to get back at this point?
Anything? I mean, at this point, they just need to try and find any cracks in their armor, which at the moment really seems to be non-existent here for Fusion University. So it's a really tough one. Maybe now that we will be moving on to an assault map, something a little bit more unexpected. We saw how those guys were actually upset by Piece of Cake in the European Season 2 with a few swap-ups and mind games in terms of those comps on Horizon.
Match is ready. Let's go.
Jumping now into the next map, Fusion University dominated on Hollywood, but really during the Beat Invitational, or sorry, not the Beat Invitational, but actually really through the Open Division, my apologies, yesterday, what we saw from them was that their dive execution was what really kind of looked the best out of Fractal. You know, we didn't really get a good opportunity to see that on Hollywood because more often than not, they were on the tank lineup. So now that we're seeing them switch over to the dive, do you expect that this might look a little bit better for them, especially on a map that might allow a couple of different more avenues to play with where they're not forced into duels with Zachary, who is just insane right now?
While it can definitely pay off, the problem is when you have the likes of a Junkrat as well, now that you also put Elk on that Ana, can definitely hold his own against some of those flankers, some of those dive heroes, and it's not looking too good, but it will really depend on execution and whether or not they can really force the opposition into a spot. But Zachary already opening up big on Horizon as well.
And the other problem, I think, with this matchup is that if you look at Fractal Esports and the fact that their dive execution is probably their biggest pro, now you're going up against a team of Fusion University who have probably one of the best dives in this entire tournament. So if you're trying to match up against that, it's not really going to often work out in your favor. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
And so far, at the very least, now going underneath, they will look for an angle. Bionades can be super effective in shutting down these pushes, but now, as they will manage to get there safely, we'll see Zachary, as I say that, still get an angle onto Gator. I thought he was in the bubble, but never mind. Making it a 6v5 means that will be the rest of the dive commencing. Dina, once again, will be shut down, and things are looking disastrous here for Fractal Esports once again. So it's going to be all about Fusion University cleaning up and having a lot of ultimates to work with as well soon enough.
You talk about trying to find a crack in the armor, trying to find something to exploit, and so far Fusion University looks unscathed, don't they? I mean, you're talking about having high ground control with Elk up top. Who Are You presenting a massive amount of threat on the Junkrat, Alarm about to have his Transcendence. They just have so many options. It looks like now we're going to see the engagement come. The Nano Boost will come onto Beast Halo. They're very aggressive in the front line, going to be looking to try to clean up these supports, but they're just going to leave them at the moment. Primal Rage is going to be forced out from Beast Halo, but he's still just looking to find these kills, and they're just going in and out. Alarm will fall, but I don't know if they're going to be able to keep going.
At the very least now, having 2 picks, this could be the opening window they needed, as Zachary did fall to Dino as well, and Transcendence at the ready as well as the Blade. So We will see whether or not Who Are You's Riptire will have something to say against it, as the sound barrier will be used and a little bit too early maybe, but now Frill will be going down. The blade is going to come out, finds the target onto Alex, so one of the supports going down is big. Bracken Lacken also will be singled out during that window of opportunity, as he did use the self-destruct. Transcendence will keep the rest of this rosters healthy on the point, but it's already 2 ticks achieved, and can they still close this out, as we'll see Gator getting a kill onto Beast Halo. They might have just done it here, Hirix.
Well, Tracer now clean up Who Are You as Frill finds that kill. They will actually score their first point so far of the tournament. Now surging forward with a little bit of momentum, but question becomes, what are they going to be able to accomplish here when they don't have the backup of those support ultimates? So it's really going to come down to just a well-executed dive. Can they find the opening kills? And right now it's not looking like that's going to be the case.
Gator's gonna pop that Primal Rage, look to displace the opposition, as already 1 tick did go through for his team. He will get a kill onto Who Are You, but Alarm answers with a kill of his own onto that Winston, and now as the Nano Boost is up, BCL is gonna do a lot of damage in that backline. We'll have the Primal Rage, but Kaluj gets a double kill off the self-destruct. However, I don't think it's going to be enough, as most of his members did go down. The respawn advantage, of course, in favor of the defensive side, and it will be halted, but at the very least, they do get 1 tick on the point.
But coming into this next fight, where NK is going to have a blade more than likely, and they will have their support ults coming up later, especially if they kind of hesitate on this push, they're still going to have to deal with Alarm with the Transcendence. If he can kind of force some level of patience into his gameplay here, he might be able to just answer the blade directly if they get aggressive with it early on.
Oh, but Dino again gonna go down. Riptire will be popped. Finds the counter Gators. Zachary finds Senza as well, and this is going to be Fusion University cleaning up once again. Alarm even claiming a kill of his own there onto Frill, and they did commit the blade, or rather the Riptire. As a result, Who Are You will be swapping over to the Genji, and considering the fact that they still have the Transcendence at the ready, they could counter NK's blade, but he's been pretty patient on it, so we'll see whether or not he'll wait it out once more.
Well, I think they have to know now that that Transcendence is ready, but they'll find the opening kill onto Who Are You. Because of that Discord, he just one-swiped him, and that was massive to start this off, but still, we have answers from Fusion University. They need to find kills now, though, as Anna is under fire. Gonna get supported now by Alarm as he's backing up into the spawn. They are now invulnerable here, so they will be able to come back with a massive health boost coming back into this fight. Kraken Lacken taking a lot of pressure initially, but it's Beast Halo coming back in to try to lend some support, try to put some pressure onto this Lucio here. Tensa now will fall. Kraken Lacken will find that killed there, and it's now just cleanup duty onto this last player alive. Kaluj goes down. It's just Frill with 4 HP, and he will get healed up, but that will be another fight win for Fusion University.
And the problem is they had to commit both of the support ultimates to make something happen, and as a result, Dino will make this up over to the Moira, Gator, to the Reinhardt, and I like the fact that NK went also on the Soldier. If he gets a good advantageous position, he might just be able to clean things up for the rest of his team, as they will look to close things out potentially here. But Phil is good to go with the pulse bomb. We'll try to look for an angle. So far though, it's the Primal Rage, and with the blade coming out of Who Are You, can he find the targets? No, it's gonna be NK finding him instead. Phil did go down in that engage, however, and now with the self-destruct coming through, Nanobus was used again onto Beast Halo, looking to dish out that damage. Will be unsuccessful so far, but it's still overall Fusion University coming out top when it comes to those kills. Kraken Lacken claiming a big one at that onto Dino. Kalush's back still answering, but Alarm finds another one onto NK, and with the lack of those supports and DPS is on the side of Fractal, this should be another good hold here for Fusion University, as Who Are You now we'll be making the swap over to the Doomfist, and this is something we've seen him really pick up against the likes of Reinhardt, so I definitely like this out of him.
Especially because Gator has been forced to keep his shield up in a lot of these fights, and what that means is that he's going to be a little bit slower, so he's going to be a lot more vulnerable to a Doomfist play, as we see some aggression coming out of Who Are You. He finds an early pick onto NK. We'll have to see if they want to still try to stay postured up here aggressively, and I imagine they'll want to pull back, and that's exactly going to be the case, as NK coming back from respawn will have the tack visor, and we saw him try to make a play for high ground, but I don't think that Who Are You is going to let that happen.
And a lot of ultimates being built up, of course, on the other side for Fusion University as well. And then considering the fact they have 60 seconds left, we will actually find a kill off of the pulse bomb. Zachary, once again, huge on that Tracer, will mean that Tense is out of the fight. And without that Lucio, I definitely can't see Fractal Esports committing here, considering the time they have left. And that will once again force them to regroup. And with 38 seconds left on the clock, pretty much one more fight is all they have.
Well, they do have a lot of options into this one. Coalescence started off really early as they follow it up with the TacVisor, trying to keep NK up. They already got the kill onto Alarm, making another onto Who Are You there as well, as NK coming off of the back corner now. TacVisor will go out, but Elk now is trying to keep Beast Halo alive. He's just battering these guys on the point. They have control with that barrier. A little bit of damage coming out as Alarm comes out from the respawn as well. He has Transcendence. He's going to keep the rest of his team alive. The tank will be able to get back up to full HP, and they'll start putting pressure on the Gator now as he falls, and it's looking like Fusion University is back in this one.
As only Dino and Kalush is left on the point, Kalush is going to go back down and get killed. Dino will fall as well, and they were so close to that second tick. However, it will not be the case, and 62.1% is all they get towards that second objective.
62.1% towards that second objective. Not the best showing considering they were able to get that first point done and dusted, but just at the end of the day, we saw that Doomfist come out from Who Are You, and I do love that pick actually, because when we saw Gator on the Reinhardt, you know, having that Doomfist in some of those situations is kind of like having, you know, the same utility as just going behind and getting a Roadhog hook, because it throws the shield out without having to actually get behind the Reinhardt. So it's a really nice mechanic to kind of play off of, and on top of that, you still have the ability to have that extra bit of verticality to kind of go up and contest the high ground if at any point NK wants to go up there, or perhaps Dino as well. There are a couple different options of players that Fractal might send up to the high ground, but Who Are You could answer all of those. So I do really like that swap, but now in their attack, I do still kind of expect to see, I don't know, I mean, a dive looks good from Fusion University. It's what they're looking at right now. I mean, Who Are You, Zachary have been very consistent so far on Genji Tracer, more often than not, so I think that's what you go with here, but I don't know. Fractal Esports, they have to figure something out now, because so far nothing has really seemed to work at all.
And the problem for them is now with the composition that they do have, NK is going to be the only one to really try and help the likes of Dino, because no Ana on this roster can really be problematic against the likes of the dive that we should expect to see from Fusion University. We saw yesterday, for instance, in the matchup against Kongarna, where their opponents not really picking that Ana really made things difficult for them, and we'll see whether or not that will be the case this time as well for Fractal, as we'll get started off. NK at the very least did have a couple of really big kills off of that soldier, so we'll see whether or not he can get even more success and good job done on that Junkrat.
Already Fusion University diving right in, and Beast Halo will fall, but that opens things up for now Zachary to kind of play the backside. Krakenlaken coming through. They're still going for it, as Krakenlaken is going to lose his mech. He's still going to kind of hold down this right side. Frill should be able to find this kill and will do just that. Beast Halo will be back into this fight though pretty soon, and it's all about holding down the fort. Who Are You is still here with Zachary. They managed to demech the Diva, and it seems like now it's all controlled by Fusion University.
And just like that, Beast Halo, maybe being the distraction sent in early, did get taken down, but it did not matter, as overall Fusion University, as said previously, on another level, will manage to close it out, get that point, and we'll have 7 minutes to get more than 62.1% done on that checkpoint. And considering that fact that they're looking to snowball in terms of those ultimates, in terms of the resources, I just can't really give it to Fractal Esports. But as I say that, Beast Halo once again, the first one to go down. Who Are You answers with a kill of his own onto Gator, looking for more, but Frill will get the D-suit. However, in the meantime, Who Are You still on the prowl on that Genji, will get another kill onto Tensa, and we'll have the Blade. Can he find the kills? Gets one onto Kalush, but Gator coming back will get the kill in return. However, one tick already achieved, rapidly approaching said checkpoint, or rather set percentage, and just like that, the final staggered kills come through. Self-destruct is on the point, and they might have just done it. Nobody to contest. It will be Fusion University in a dominant fashion, winning over Fractal 2-0.
And this was looking like before, you know, this could have been a really tough matchup for these two teams. You know, we hadn't seen Fractal against any real tough competition yet, so it was hard to gauge going into it, but they looked phenomenal throughout Open Division. But we're now seeing the disparity between what is a very strong Academy team, admittedly, and what is